What's up, everyone? Welcome to Power Play with CJ. As many of you know, last week I did a piece on it. Nashville fired Barry Trotz, the only coach they've ever had. And today we're going to talk about the candidates. A week later, they haven't hired a replacement, but we'll take a look at who I think the top five will be. It's actually really the top four. The fifth one is kind of I put an asterisk there. If something goes wrong in the playoffs, maybe Anaheim fires Boudreau or Pittsburgh fires Danny Biles, something like that were to happen, I think they'd go after that. So that's kind of got the coaches that are still under contract that could be on the market. I don't think they'd hire Tortorella, but hey, you never know. The fourth spot, Kevin Dineen. I thought Kevin Dineen didn't get a fair shake with the Panthers. You think about it, 2 years ago, they were a surprise team. They made the playoffs mostly because the other four teams in that division kind of laid down and died that year. But I thought Dineen should have won the Jack Adams conversation 2 years ago. He was a rookie coach with the Panthers, former Hartford Whaler great. I love Dineen as a coach. I think he's a very good hockey mind. He obviously won gold with the Canadian women's team, which with a team like that, I think he just opened the gate and let those women do their job because they are amazing hockey players. But that's not taking anything away from Dineen as a coach. But looking at that, I think he'd be a good fit in Nashville. Again, I don't think he got the fair shake he deserved. In Florida, with getting fired this year, but that's just my 2 cents in the matter. Number 3, another guy that got screwed by a hockey team in Florida, Guy Boucher. You guys know I'm the biggest Guy Boucher fan out there. I loved him when he was a coach in the Q, and then when he was with the Hamilton Bulldogs. I thought Montreal really let a good coach get away when they didn't hire him to be their head coach. But he's an amazing hockey mind. He's a great motivator. I think he's a trained psychologist too. The way he deals with the players as individuals and then uses that individual psychology on the whole to get the best out of them. Really, you saw that on display his first year in Tampa, and unfortunately, last year and the year before, the goaltender wasn't there. I mean, you can motivate the hell out of guys, but if you're going and getting stops, you aren't winning too many games. And personally, if I were hiring a coach, I'd hire Guy Boucher. I think he can do a lot with that talent. Help with the young players, and just be an effective motivator. And he's good with the X's and O's. And again, he's a very, very intelligent man. McGill University. Again, I'd want a guy like that. He's well spoken. He looks like Keanu Reeves too, which is pretty cool, if I do say so myself. Keanu Reeves, great high school goalie in Chicago, by the way. He was a young bud. Number 2. Phil Housley, Phil the Thrill, obviously the Nashville assistant coach. Never had an NHL head coaching job, but I think that being in the organization for the year, power play with CJ fan, so he knows hockey because he watches a power play. I think there's a direct correlation there. Phil tunes in from time to time. He knows, he's seen this face before. But in all seriousness, I think it'd be this would be a good opportunity to get his first head coaching job. They get some talent, some good defensemen, some good young forwards, Philip Forsberg and Sessions, guys like that. There's a kid, Leipzig, out of the Portland Winterhawks, is amazing, really good offensive player. Could be the next Brad Marchand in the way he pisses guys off. I love watching that kid play. And, I think Housley can get a lot out of it. He's great with coaching young players, and you saw that at the World Juniors, even though he did kind of screw over Matt Grzelcyk, but that's neither here nor there. That's the kid from Boston coming out right now, But, looking at what he's done on the international level, with Team USA not at the World Juniors, but at the World Championships, he's coaching them. A very young team, this month and into next month. So that's something to take a look at. I wouldn't rule out, Housley using this as his first opportunity and doing a good job. He's owns a good hockey mind. Hasn't come up to. He was coaching high school hockey in Minnesota, 2 years ago, or really a year and a half ago. He's not of the ilk of Boucher in terms of how he's been trained as a coach, but he played enough games in the NHL. He knows what it takes, and that's what that is. And number 1, my fellow Masshole, Peter Laviolette. After getting shafted in Philly this year, I would have fired him after last season, to be honest with you. More so to help the organization start the season on a fresh foot. But you saw what Berube did, and he's an amazing coach, and he'll do a. He's done a great job, Craig Berube, but Laviolette, Stanley Cup Finals with Philly, Stanley Cup in Carolina. He's coached international hockey before. He's really Not bad for a guy out of Westfield State that played 11 games for the New York Rangers once upon a time. And I think he'd be a good fit as well. I mean, he's got obviously a ton of head coaching experience. He's a good hockey mind. He's molded that Carolina team into a champion. He got the best out of Brendan Moore and Stahl and those boys, and I think he can take that same approach in Nashville. I think there's a lot of first of all, he's coached Matt Cullen before, so that's a great thing. But looking at it from that perspective. Bringing in an established head coach. Out of all these guys, he's obviously the most established head coach. That's not, Deneen and Boucher have, combined 6-7 years coaching it, and Laviolette is more than that on his own. I think Lavi would be a good coach. If it were up to me, I'd give Boucher another look. I want him to get a look soon, because I just kind of don't want him to fall between the cracks, you know what I mean? Just because he's a good hockey mind. It just didn't work out for him in Tampa. I thought they should have had more patience with him, but and Cooper's done a fantastic job, so I really can't fault the Heisman's decision. But, you hate to see a good man and a good coach get fired, but, that's the nature of the beast. It's a dog-eat-dog world in that industry, and hopefully the Predators find themselves a good coach. And I think out of these four guys, and then the possibility of coaches on the playoffs, there's plenty of good options. And Nashville's, Poyle and company have assembled a good organization. I'm just curious to see how the tempo and how the Nashville plays overall changes, because we've seen them, the more defensive-minded team under Barry Trotz. I know they opened it up in, was it 06 and 07, but for the most part they've been a steady defensive team, great goaltending, great defense. I want to see if the organizational philosophy changes at all, and that's something to keep an eye on with whoever this new head coach is, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, that's like on this episode of the Power Play with CJ on possible new coaches in Nashville. Stay tuned for episodes throughout the playoffs and beyond. Later, guys.